It's part two of the Blacks in Cinema Sunday. Yeah. We just finished watching Boomerang. In fact, let me close it out real quick.
No, I'm not doing it. If you even turn and look at her, I'll break your fucking neck. I'm not even looking at her. I was looking at this woman thinking about the future. That's you in 15 years old. You try to still love me. She by herself right now. I'm playing.
Blacks in Cinema Sunday, Floyd House Flicks. Listen, I would like to think that everyone has seen Boomerang. Everybody's seen Boomerang. I don't care who you are, where you're from, you've seen Boomerang. So many colloquial phrases and terms have come from Boomerang. It's just, incredible. We're talking Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Halle Berry, David Allen Greer, the late great John Witherspoon, uh, Robin Givens. Yeah, well, she was bad back in the day, you can't lie. But first, like, share, subscribe, Floyd House Flicks. Check us out. Check us out. We're doing things on Sundays that I haven't seen on here, so we're going for it. Blacks in Cinema Sundays, every Sunday at around noon. We'll be doing at least two movies, Black Cinema Sundays. So again, Boomerang was our second film. Boomerang came out. What year did Boomerang come out? I believe it was 19. Sorry for me for not being prepared. 1992. I was 21 years old when the Boomerang film came out. There was a certain attraction to that film and to the concept. It was just an amazing concept. You had Eddie Murphy playing Marcus Graham, an advertising agency executive, running a large advertisement agency for the most part. You had Robin Givens, who then came in and she became an advertising executive. And in this agency, it was filled with black faces, not something that you would see commonly in any corporation, something you're not familiar with. But for us, it was definitely something that showed us a different way of thinking. We appreciated that. And again, we had Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, David Allen Greer, Halle Berry, Grace Jones, Eartha Kitt, Godfrey Holder, the 7-Up guy, Nasty Nelson, that was his name, Nelson. And we had so many forward professional African Americans just being successful and enjoying life. Tisha Campbell was in this movie. And it was so much fun to watch. I think when we got phrases like coordinate and bang, 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 bang. Heard the girl at the office got you pussy whipped. You need to reverse it. Don't let that pussy whip you. Whip that pussy. Incredible. That stuck with us forever. That colloquialism by itself stuck with us forever. I will say, John Witherspoon made a career off of that phrase by itself, all by itself. And when David Allen Greer's parents were in the bathroom, he said they've been in there for like an hour. I said, what do you mean? He said, they're in there hitting it. He said, your parents are smoking a joint in my bathroom? I said, no, they're in there fucking. Blew our minds. It was hilarious. And after they came out the bathroom and John Witherspoon said, well, goddamn, what's for dessert? I mean, we were over. It was a wrap. But what was going on is there was a transfer of power. The ad agency was getting new ownership by a woman named Lady Eloise Cosmetics, and that was their biggest client. And Lady Eloise was taking over, so Marcus Graham, Eddie Murphy, took it upon himself to figure maybe if I sleep with this lady, I'll stay in good and I won't lose my position. He did that. Didn't quite work out as well as he thought it would. And yeah, things went a little sideways once he found out that Lady Eloise was a figurehead, not a functioning character, part of the board of trustees, if you will. So, I mean, I'm not wearing any panties on. I don't know how many times somebody has said but wait, here it goes. We are introduced firmly to Halle Berry. Now, Halle Berry previously had been in Jungle Fever as a crackhead. And there was another movie that she was in called Strictly Business as well. But when we saw her in Boomerang, she was officially the around the way girl. Stark contrast to the Robin Givens character, who was like the high end, stanky, highfalutin. We call them stanky, highfalutin bras. She better than everybody else. Excuse the term bras. I'm just being colloquial. But it was more of Robin Givens just having an air to herself because she was pretty, she was thin, she had long hair, and that's what was popping back then. It's like the '90s were something else, and then when we were introduced to Halle Berry, it just showed us another option. These were girls that were, like I said, we called them around the way girls. These were girls that we knew, neighborhood girls, girls that who you kind of didn't really pay attention to until one day all of a sudden they became just gorgeous. So the ad agency had to come up with a new ad scheme. So they invented this scheme with this character named Stranger, played by Grace Jones. Grace Jones is a lot to eat, a lot to deal with all by herself. But as a character, as Stranger, she really laid it on. And that also became a colloquialism. When you call somebody Stranger, you see somebody Stranger, you know what that means. It's a play on strange, the word strange, but Stranger. And it was just a lot of fun to be there and watch. The relationship between Tyler, that's Martin Lawrence's character, and Gerard, David Allen Greer's character, and Marcus, they were all very good friends. And just watching them get along, it was so just reflective of our personal relationships that we had with each other as men, as black men, young black men at that. And I will say this, we, at some point or another, all felt that we were the Marcus Grahams of our crew. And Marcus was a ladies' man. He had all the ladies. He had just the way he talked to, the way he spoke to his friends, and the things his friends got to see just let him know that he was the man. And the way that the ladies looked at him made him know that he was the man. Who don't want to be the man? I mean, we all want to be the man. But this was an era that had a lot to do with young black men finding themselves, whether it was in business, in relationship, or just in life in general. If you were about anything, if you were trying to do anything forwardly mobile, upwardly mobile, as they say, that's the company that you would keep. And but everybody wanted to be the man in the '90s. So Boomerang represented that. As the film progressed, Marcus Graham's character falls in love with Robin Givens' character. Of course, she turned the tables on Marcus. She made Marcus be the victim, if you will, of her wiles, because she knew how to play the game too, and she did it, and she played him, and she had him out there thinking that he needs to be more concerned with her, and she treated him like, I guess theoretically, the way men treat women, especially back in the '90s, as the men are in charge. She made him be less than in charge of that relationship. And I guess if you look at it, it's in retrospect or introspectively, it is a bit toxic toxic sort of relationships where people are made to feel subservient. Nobody wants that. That's not what we're looking for. But back in the day, I mean, it was just different. We were all trying to be our best men. Every man that you could be, that was the best representation of man you could be, that's what you were trying to do. So this was the 90s. The 90s were something else. So eventually, Halle Berry's character starts to show more interest in Marcus, and they wind up connecting, Marcus and Halle Berry's character. And Gerard was supposed to be dating Halle Berry's character, but it didn't quite work out. And Marcus and Halle Berry's character, who her name escapes me right now. Robin Gibbons' character's name was Jacqueline. Halle Berry's character, uh, again, her name escapes me. But after she saw Jacqueline started to play Marcus, she decided to tell her to take it easy on Marcus. He's a nice guy. I like him. And of course, Jacqueline didn't take kindly to that. And things started to get a little shaky in that relationship as well. But once Marcus slept with Halle Berry's character, everything started to fall apart. His relationship with Gerard started to get shaky or got shaky. Of course, this is where it really gets sketchy is when Marcus, his character still had an infatuation with Jacqueline, and when she showed back up, everything that he was feeling just immediately ran back to Jacqueline. I've been there before. I know a few of us have been there before. We made mistakes in judgment based on what we thought and wound up back with a person that didn't give a shit about us. But our emotions led the way. That's funny, but men, we do the same thing sometimes. We make mistakes. So, of course, he got aired out by Halle Berry, and told him, if you knew what love would have brought you home last night. That was the whole song soundtrack. That was a really good soundtrack as well. Babyface produced that soundtrack. Very good soundtrack. And as the film progressed, Halle Berry got a new job. Marcus quits his job because he knows that he can't be with Jacqueline and he can't be around her. So he just quit because he realized he was in love with the Halle Berry character. The Halle Berry character went herself and got a successful job at a different ad agency, was blowing up, was doing big things. Marcus shows up to the job with some children that Halle Berry used to teach art to at an after-school art program that she hadn't had time for anymore. And oh Lord, I've been infiltrated. Oh wow. Eddie Murphy's character has had a. How do I turn this off? Okay, remove a report. I've been botted. How about that? I feel popular now. Very important. Very important. Oops, I hope this is showing up on my screen. Yeah, so he took the children to her job, and she gave him another good cursing out, but eventually they got back together. Eddie Murphy or Gerard and Marcus got an opportunity to make up, and they became friends again. And then, of course, at the end, everybody's happy. Marcus is with the Halle Berry character. Gerard and Tyler and everybody's happy. Chris Rock was in this movie. I did not mention Chris Rock. Chris Rock's character's name was Boney T. Excuse me, who was like the information guy. He seemed to know everything. Anytime they needed information, they got it from him. Who else am I missing? I think that was it as far as cast goes. This is one of the most well-rounded out casts. Now, another thing, controversially speaking, that was, Boney T was the male dude. Correct. That's correct. That's completionist. That's right. He was the male guy, the guy in the mail room. And Eddie Murphy handpicked Chris Rock to be that person. He wanted him to be that person in that movie. It was one of Chris Rock's first movies. One of them. Also, controversially speaking, the The mass media didn't take well to Boomerang when it was released back in '92. When they saw this ad agency is being run by all black people, well, how is this possible? Where are all the white people that are running this place? How is this place running? This is an actual statement that was made, and it was so weird that it had to be addressed publicly. Boomerang did well in certain communities, but not all communities, just because it was something that was looked at as unrealistic. Can you believe that? It was unrealistic. There weren't many uh, white people in Boomerang, and it's no big deal. I mean, it wasn't that. I mean, there's plenty of movies that don't have any black people in them. It is what it is. What do you do? Do you notice it? You acknowledge. You say, "Wow, there are no people of color in this movie at all." Is that a problem? I don't know. But then that's why They came up with films like, or plays and stuff like these rainbow casts where they use uh, people of color in roles that aren't necessarily traditional. Like Hamilton, for instance. Hamilton was a multicultural cast, telling a story that happened in early America, having to do with all white folks. It is what it is. So you think outside of the box. Boomerang, for me, showed African Americans a different way of thinking, which we needed. It was reinforcing. It was inspiring. It leads you to know anything is possible, just because traditional media sources don't acknowledge it, or at least encourage it. It's there. So Boomerang was definitely the type of movie that opened up many doors. Boomerang, the impact that Boomerang had in the black community was similar, not the same, but similar to the impact of Black Panther. You looked at yourself differently. There's no need to feel discounted as a person of color in the film industry, in corporate America, in anything. But quite often things like that they happen, and if you bend to them, what can you do? You see a lot of, at one point in Boomerang, you see people wearing their natural hair, no perms or anything like that, and that's a natural hairstyle because a natural way a black person's hairs grow out of their head. That's natural. So at one point in corporate America, you could not do that. So Boomerang showed yes, you can, and it was shown in wonderfulness. It was shown in wonderfulness. Greetings, the monkey. Greetings indeed. Thank you for coming to Black in Cinema Sundays. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please like, share, subscribe. You're already subscribed. Tell a friend. Let's get this thing rocking, because every Sunday I'm going to be doing this. Every Sunday. And it's going to be public. Not like, I don't know what happened with the YouTube channel the last time, but I converted it. As soon as I was done, I made it public. So we'll figure out how to do it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at in terms of the movie Boomerang. It ended on a good note. It ended in a great relationship, a great story, in a great city, New York, because you know how we do. But yeah, that's it. Boomerang, great movie. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it. And watch it with an open mind. Learn something from it. I'm telling you, it's a great, great movie. All right, we're going to close this up. Floyd House Flicks, Blacks in Cinema Sunday. This is episode number 3 or 4. Because I usually try to do 2 movies at one time. I try. If I can get one done in a day and I can do a great review of it, it may just be one. But if I have the urge and the need to do 2, I'm going to do 2. And I hope you enjoy this. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to go across the gamut of black cinema. We're not just going to do old movies. We're going to do newer movies. We're going to do all sorts of black cinema, probably some things you've never seen or heard of before. So we're going to open you up. Floyd House Flicks, Blacks in Cinema Sundays. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next Sunday. Again, tomorrow, Physical Media Commute number 28. Physical Media Commute number 28. I'll be there. See you there. All right, y'all. Be safe. Salute.